Maru's good? How you doing? Good. Yeah, well, we're detectives from Sao Paulo. We need to talk. You called me? Nah, sir. You called me. And that's where Demarcus crackhead criggily fumbled again, caught slipping with that same dumb look on his face. Bro was standing there like he just woke up from a crack nap and forgot which universe he was in. Hands behind your back, sir. In the restroom, though. Not even at the car now. Hold on. Shout out real quick, dear. Woke Christian. Salute to Lady Luck Club. I was watching their panel, and when I saw Demarcus get hauled off, I swore it was about that Thornton Township brawl. But according to them, nope, not even related. And these two are solid sources. So I believe I did hear Demarcus got arrested over a phone a while back, and I figured this was that. But nah, this, something else entirely. What's weird is when the cops grabbed him. The officer literally stopped mid-sentence. I'm placing you under arrest for then nothing. Just silence, like they didn't want it recorded. Demarcus didn't fight, didn't bark, didn't even ask why. He just shuffled along quiet, and yeah, we're gonna check that whole scene out. Body cam footage, the full vibe, let's break it all down, because this wasn't your everyday arrest, FAM.so. Boom, they cuff him, walk him out the restroom, and then Demarcus is like, let me put out my cigarette. Fool said he gotta turn off his car too. My wife here, like the police. Care then tells the cop, don't tighten the cuffs too much. Like, sir, you're not going to brunch, you're going to booking. Then he tells them he works on cars now. Really? Since when, Demarcus? Because that fake township ghost job, that gravy train's done, Tiffany Henyards, sugar trips are over. They walk him down the street like it's a parade. Now, shout out to Street Media Network for the footage. Linked to their channel in the description, they captured everything, even though the audio cut when they reached the car. Probably didn't want us hearing what was said. Or maybe Demarcus ain't say jack. Either way, it's a strange one. The officer showed him something on a phone, and now we're all wondering what exactly was that. At first glance, I thought maybe it was a photo from the brawl. Like, is this you passing the phone? Is this you swinging? But nah, something deeper, something they ain't saying yet. All we know is Demarcus got booked on March 27th, and he's probably already out. But this is just another headache in the Hanyard crew's downfall. And we waiting on the main show, that final arrest, that grand finale, because let's be honest, Demarcus is just a pawn, a disposable sidekick in the Tiffany Henyard circus. But her time is ticking. One by one, her little goons are falling, and it's only a matter of time before she's next. Mark my words, the day she's cuffed and stuffed into the back of that cop car, that's going to be the most satisfying season finale Dalton ever had. Get the popcorn ready. This man clearly has a history with the police. The way he casually mentioned he works on cars like that somehow explains everything. Yeah, okay, sure. Let's hope that's the truth, because lying to the police, that's a crime in itself. So next thing you know, they're taking him for a nice little stroll down the block straight to the police car. A peaceful walk with good OL crackhead Criggly. He didn't resist one bit. That's how you know he's been through this before. But let me tell you what he didn't want to let go of. That Newport. The man clung to that cigarette like it was a lifeline until the officer had to say, drop that cigarette. You could tell he was trying to sneak in a couple more puffs before getting cuffed up. He knew what to do. Two assumed the position and everything. Like I said, this wasn't his first rodeo. Now, here's where it gets a little weird. They put him in the back of a Land Rover. Yeah, apparently this is South Highland Police, so I guess undercover whips are part of the package. But it gets stranger. Instead of the cop sitting up front like usual, he hops in the back with him. Anybody who's ever been arrested knows that's not normal. Usually, they keep you back there and talk trash from the front seat. But this cop, sitting right beside him, it makes you wonder, was this a casual transport or some kind of hush-hush interrogation? We couldn't hear what was being said, so the mystery thickens. I've got a feeling this isn't the last time we'll see something shady like this. My prediction, Leotis is next. His name keeps popping up around that St. Patrick's money, and that youth program mess. I'd bet $100 nah, even $20, that his arrest is just around the corner. Now, switching gears, let's talk about the Carmelo Anthony and Austin Medef situation. The internet's split. Some folks are calling it self-defense. Personally, I call it murder. But let's stick to the facts. Originally, law enforcement said Austin skipped school to go to the track meet where it all went down. But new info came out. Turns out he was allowed to be there. See how easy it is to correct a mistake. When we're wrong, we admit it. That part's cleared up, but what we can't overlook is that knife. Bringing a knife to a track meet. There's no justifying that. The same people yelling self-defense would lose their minds if it were their kid who got stabbed. Ain't no way they'd be calm about it. He tried to act like he was just some regular guy working on cars, trying to stay out of trouble. Yeah, okay. But the officer wasn't buying it. He told him straight up, if you're lying to the cops, that's a crime. So they took him for a little walk, down to the police car. Crackhead Krigley, as usual, didn't resist. He's been through this routine before, so he knew the drill. No fight, no fuss, except he did not want to let go of that Newport cigarette. Even as they cuffed him up, he held on to that thing until the officer said, "Drop the cigarette." Tried to get a couple last puffs in, like this was nothing new to him. Just another day for Demarcus Krigley. But here's where things get interesting. They didn't put him in a regular squad car. They put him in the back of a Land Rover, a Land Rover. Supposedly, this is South Highland PD, so I guess they use undercover vehicles now. Maybe that's not a big deal, but what caught my eye is this. The officer actually sat in the back seat, next to him. Now, anyone who's ever been arrested knows the cop usually sits in the front while you're in the back by yourself. But not this time. There was plenty of room up front, so what's the deal? Maybe it was some kind of low-key interrogation, and we couldn't hear what they were saying either, so it's definitely worth paying. Attention to this. I think we'll see more of this kind of activity. My next guess, Leotis. I think they're coming for him next. His name's coming up in that whole St. Patrick's deal, plus that youth program mess. He's knee-deep in it. If I had to bet $20, $100, whatever I'd bet, he's the next one getting cuffed. Could be wrong, but let's talk about it. Who do you think's next? Now, switching gears, let's talk about the Carmelo Anthony and Austin Meadows situation. There's been a lot of debate. Some people are saying it was self-defense. I'm not one of them. I'm saying straight up, that was murder. But we gotta keep it real. Early reports said he skipped school and showed up at that track meet. That's what law enforcement told the media, but turns out they were wrong. He did have the right to be at that track meet. So let's correct the record on that. What we can't correct, though, is him bringing a knife to school. That's where the self-defense argument starts to fall apart. If that was your kid who got stabbed, no way in hell you'd be calling that self-defense. Let's be honest, this is not about race. This isn't black and white. This is about someone making a bad decision. Some folks said the suspect was being bullied. But I also heard he's the captain of the football team. How in the world does the captain of the football team get bullied? That doesn't even make sense. You mean to tell me he's getting bullied by other football players while leading the team? Come on now. His lawyer's doing his job getting paid, but this defense ain't holding up. And here's something else I don't get. The bond was originally $1 million, which means you'd need $100,000 to get out. They raised around $400,000 online. Then the bond dropped to $250,000. So why was he still sitting in jail? Supposedly, there were delays in processing the bond money, but still it doesn't add up. Maybe the fundraising site shut them down. That's happened before. One site returned all the donations, and they had to start over on a new platform. Now there's like 20 different sites claiming they're raising money for him. Be careful. There are a lot of scams out there. If you're going to donate to support him, make sure it's actually going to his people, not just someone using his photo. That's all I'm saying. Anyway, we'll keep reporting on this story. My stance hasn't changed. I think he's guilty. I think he went there expecting trouble, and when things escalated, he overreacted and used deadly force. And let's be real, you know how hard you have to stab someone to actually kill them? That's not self-defense. That's intent. So we're really trying to paint this into some black and white emotional drama now. Like, nah, this boy wasn't some helpless victim. People out here claiming he was getting bullied. Really? That's what we're going with. Because I also heard he was the captain of the football team. So let me get this straight here. The top dog on the field, calling plays, leading teammates, and somehow you're the one being bullied. Boy, if that ain't the most backwards plot twist I've heard. It's going to be real tough selling the whole self-defense angle when the math ain't mathing. His attorney showed up ready to cash that check, but let's be honest, he's going to have his work cut out for him. The bond was set at $1 million, and they raised over $400,000, but the boy was still sitting in jail. Like, if the money's there, why hasn't he walked out yet? Something's not adding up. Maybe the system is slow, or maybe the money isn't where they say it is. Turns out, the first donation platform shut it all down and refunded everyone's money. That's how messy this is. Now there's like 20 sketchy pages claiming they're raising funds on his behalf, but let me warn you, some of those are straight-up scams. If you're out here donating, you better double-check that you're not giving your hard-earned dollars to some random with a copy-pasted photo and a fake GoFundMe link. The desperation is real, and so are the hustles. Look, I ain't vouching for this kid, not even close. My opinion, he's guilty. Flat out. He showed up expecting smoke, got into it, and then overreacted fatally. You know how deep you gotta stab somebody to kill them? That's not a random moment. That's rage. That's intent. That's why I'm leaning toward this being premeditated. You don't just end up in another team's tent with a knife, cause of a little rain. Take your ass to your own sideline. He's got a past too where it is. He's already been suspended for bringing a knife to school before. You think the prosecutors ain't gonna drag that out in court? Please, that right there proves this isn't some one-time mistake. This is a pattern, a habit. And as for all those folks yelling defense, nah, it was murder. You can't scream, "He hit me first," after you brought a weapon to a school game and used it like that. That's not defending yourself, that's escalation. People gonna keep saying, well, Austin shouldn't have touched him. Sure, but Carmelo shouldn't have had a blade on him in the first place. Two wrongs don't make a right. And this ain't about race. It's about right and wrong, period. Smash that like button and hit subscribe, because we're not done uncovering this mess. And as for Crackhead, Kriggly, oh, he's next. With cigarette break, between that St. Patrick's mess and the fake car wash program, they all looking at cuffs real soon.